Bolt your windows. Lock your doors. Check your closets. Look under your bed. And then prepare yourself. For it's another episode of Dark Night of the Podcast. Whoa!
Hello, Roger.
Hello, Troy. How are we today?
I'm good. It's been forever, but I know we've both been kind of, busy. But here we are back to talk about probably the best film we've reviewed so far.
I would say in terms of acting alone, leagues above the rest.
Yeah, I mean, The Invitation. Who? I mean, come on. But,
get out of here.
But no, hope you're doing well. Like I said, it's been a while, but we're back ready to dive in. And, this is the perfect month.
Perfect.
Halloween's approaching quickly, and I can't believe that October's almost over. Where is this year gone? But on the other hand, this year cannot end fucking soon enough.
Get the fuck out of here and bring on 2021, which for all we know will just be worse.
Probably.
But fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed that it is just an evolutionary year that maybe starts off with some new leadership, hope for change. Right now I'm fearing the fact that the Supreme Court may in fact roll back gay marriage, something that's been discussed lately. That has me terrified. So, hoping for a better year altogether. But right now, we do have little things to celebrate. And one of them, I would say, is Slaughter High.
You've never seen this, Jim, have you?
I've never seen it. How have I avoided this one?
I don't know. I mean, and you call yourself a horror fan? I mean, get out of here.
Shame on me. Shame on me.
So,
real quick, before we dive into this, I want the fans to know that you, sir, just got nominated for another award for Best Director. Is that the case? Yeah.
Yes, at the Montreal Requiem Festival.
Montreal.
Yeah, right.
We're going international with this one.
I felt fancy as fuck. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize. I mean, I didn't expect that at all because they accepted a lot of. I think they accepted because of COVID. They accepted pretty much every film that got submitted. So We're talking, I run a festival myself, the Houston Horror Film Festival with my friend Tony. And, our first year we got almost 200 submissions. So I can imagine what they got because they, their submission fee was super $5. So I was very honored, very pleased with that. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I felt it. I don't want to forget it and not mention it later on after we get caught up in the nonsense that is Slaughter High. But I felt like you deserved that moment of recognition because God love you. You do deserve it.
Well, thank you. And and yeah, just to let everyone know, Teacher Shortage will be out October 27th, finally on DVD. Yes. So look for it. Pre-ordered on Amazon. Any retailer, I believe, will have it available. So. But yeah, enough about that. We got to talk about Slaughter High.
What are you getting me into with this movie? I seriously sat and I watched it, and I was like, it explains so much about Troy and who he is and what he loves, and honestly, man, I can't even say I have any issues with it. I don't because I wouldn't want it any other way. But God, what a crock of bullshit in the best way possible. The acting, everything. We'll get into it.
Well, we'll get into it because it's and this might say even more about me than you probably but it's probably one of the slasher films I've seen the most in my life. Let's put it that way. There's just something just absurd and endearing about it that you just gotta love it. But let's get into it. Let's get into it. I'm going to introduce it by that wonderful score by the Friday the 13th composer, who did the score for Friday the 13th. His name is escaping me right now. Harry Manfredini. I believe, and that wonderful near. Yeah, okay.
With the subtle jingle of a bell every once in a while, and I use the term subtle loosely.
Okay, so if you haven't seen Slaughter High, again, as we preface with every episode, you might want to go watch this gem right away because your life is incomplete if you have not seen this film.
Absolutely.
But I'll give it a very basic plot synopsis. Slaughter High deals with Marty Ranson, who is the nerd of the school, Doddsville High School, and he's the one that gets picked on all the time, and you gotta love Marty. He has that adorkable vibe to him.
He's giving us a subtle performance, a very withheld performance.
Well, and full frontal nudity. We can't
within the first 5 minutes. We get dick within the first 5 minutes in this movie. I would not have expected that. But
anyway, so very simple plot. The group of jocks who all look about 50. They play a mean joke on Marty. The film opens with him being seduced by the beautiful Carol, played by Carolyn Monroe, and she gets him in the girls' locker room. And once she gets him to undress, all of the jocks come and film him and make fun of him and dump his head in the toilet. And the gym teacher comes and breaks it up. And because they get detention, sort of like Carrie, they want to get their extra little revenge. So they give Marty a marijuana joint that's laced with something that makes it explode when he smokes it. We got to say that he's in this science lab with all of these dangerous chemicals that are just on shelves with no lids on them or anything.
They blatantly, there is a bottle that he grabs at one point that in giant red font says nitric acid on it, and it is placed very, very, very loosely at the top corner of a high shelf without a cap on it. And it's such bad choices are being made within the first 5 minutes of the film. But yeah, very precarious.
Anyways, so they mess with the science experiment, and what happens is it explodes. The nitric acid falls, splashes in his face. He gets disfigured. That's a very actually kind of effective scene when you see him laying on the floor and he reaches and grabs the bar.
Steaming hot pipe.
Yeah. That always gets to me.
Yeah.
So he's disfigured. Flash forward 10 years later, all of the students who still look 50.
Who now look of age.
Yeah. Now they look of age. Yeah. Well, but they are invited to a reunion at the high school. They all arrive, and they find that the high school looks like it's been closed for 30 years, despite the fact that this is only 10 years later.
But they say it's been about 5 years, but even still, a question I already had is if my high school were to have closed, would at least not one person within your social circle have been informed that the school to which you graduated from and devoted years of your life to, education within, would you not know that it was closed? How would you come back to this location and be like, reunion, didn't know my school closed, let alone that this reunion is being thrown out of the blue? It's just very confusing. Continue.
Yeah. Well, they arrive and the school looks, it's dilapidated, and they go in and they're the only ones there. And instead of normal people being okay, maybe we should probably just go back home or go celebrate somewhere else, they decide to stay because there is a room that's set up that has all of their pictures and little, beer and little desserts and things like that. And so they stay and get the party started. And in good slasher fashion, someone, I wonder who, in a jester's mask starts killing them off in some of the most absurd ways you will ever see. But it's so fun. So fun.
It's very fun. Yeah. At the end of the day, no matter what, it's a very entertaining film. I can't deny that. It's
basically your traditional revenge, slasher flick. Someone getting revenge on those that wronged him.
Yes.
So where do we begin with this gem?
I mean, I honestly, when I look at my notes, the first thing I see, literally my first note is, I see we're dealing with some subtle acting here. And across the board, there are big choices made by all individuals involved in this film. But one name that stands out to me and I think this is the note you'd want to start on as well, would be Stella. And I feel that Stella perfectly encompasses what I would expect from a film of this nature, from her wardrobe choices to her on-again, off-again Southern drawl. Like, there is a defined drawl that comes out in several lines, but then there's other bits of dialogue where there's no drawl at all. And it's just very confusing. And even the fact that, like, that's the last broad I'd expect to have a topless scene, but they just went all for it. So the cast in this, though I would say, like, not necessarily the most skilled batch of actors I've ever seen, are very devoted to the moment and very endearing and entertaining. I'll say that. Like, all of them. Like, Skip, really devoted to the moment. Like, he might make some big choices, but he's like, he never really broke that character. It's all very consistent in that sense. Like, there's some really over the top choices made, but it's all kind of, it helps form like the overall vibe that this movie is selling us, you know? Like, this movie is not trying to be subtle. There's nothing subtle about this film to begin with, which made it very enjoyable for me.
No, yeah, I feel like, yeah, the characters are very distinct. I don't feel like they are your typical, like, even though, you know, they're supposed to be like the popular kids and the jocks, I feel like they're kind of, the actors bring something to them that at least make them distinct and memorable. They're not like your typical disposable slasher film characters where you can't remember which one is which or who was, you know, they're very, you know, who's who, you know, Skip, Stella, you know, Nancy, Carl, they all have very distinct personalities. Carol even, who probably for me is the weakest link of the film, Carolyn Monroe, which is surprising because, you know, she was kind of the early 80s scream queen, low-grade scream queen. But she, you know, is just kind of bland to me.
She really doesn't have anything to do either. Like, I mean, other than be beautiful, she doesn't have a ton to do until like the final, you know, and we'll get to that, you know, to the final chunk of the film. Other than that, she just kind of stands around in that amazing white jumpsuit, which was the worst item she could have worn, because when it comes to running through shadows and trying to hide, she's like a lighthouse, like in the distance. She's always glowing. So, I mean, she's stunning. She's beautiful to look at. There are a few characters that I feel, because of the volume, like, this cast is huge and it's distractingly large. And like, so there's a few characters that I feel kind of just got lost in the mix. Like Susan, for example, you know, Susan comes midway through the whole thing and she walks up into the building and we don't even get a reveal of what happened to her, do we? No. Like, the hands come out through the wall. You know, there's that moment that, you know, you see her like walking up, she sees the image of Marty and then the hands bust through. But do we get a reveal of like even what happened to her? Or does it just kind of get lost in, I'm guessing obviously she dies, but like, you don't even really see it. It's just more of like this startle moment and there's no closure to it. And even the character of, another one was Shirley, who Shirley has one of like the most, I don't want to say standout death sequences, but death sequences to acknowledge in the film. But her character, like, I almost was like not aware she was there until like all of a sudden she said a line, you know? So a few of these characters do get lost in the mix, but that's just because the head count is so high.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to mention, speaking of characters, there is the caretaker that just happens to be, you know, at this school.
Jamaican.
Yeah, and I want to know, I don't know. This was just a question. Do like schools that have been closed for, you know, all these years, do they have a caretaker, like living inside? I don't know. That was my question.
Yeah, he did give the exposition of like the fact that the building was about to be torn down. Like, he did give a little bit of that info, but it was very confusing as to why he was still there. And it did.
What's his job? I mean, what's he doing? Like, just wandering the hall?
Overseeing, I suppose, but obviously doing a horrible job because he welcomes the teen or the cast in with like open arms. He's like, if you want to look around, that's fine. And then, but I was very put off by his, like, in my mind, offensive Jamaican accent. Like, the only character of color in the film, and they took it all the way. Like they were like, let's make this as stereotypical as possible. But I mean, it's the 1980s. What can you expect?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You know, and he obviously doesn't last long. He's the first batched. But then you get and then the group goes and the film kind of kicks into gear pretty quickly, I think. You have the character of what's his name? The one that drinks the beer.
Honestly, I don't remember. I just know there's so many people.
It's Ted. Ted takes a swig of the beer. He's the first to die in a pretty disgusting way because apparently the beer is actually acid.
Okay, so that's what it was. Because for me, I was like, how is his body erupting? I was very confused.
That's what because it causes his intestines to pop out.
Yeah.
And then, what's her name gets splashed with this blood and freaks out and runs. It just happens to decide to find a bathtub in the middle of the school.
And erotically strip down and get into it. A pristine bathtub in the middle of this abandoned school.
I mean, I don't remember my school having a bathtub, but
like a lone bathtub in an empty room, like with no explanation whatsoever.
Well, there's a lot of those little things like that, but yeah, surely I think she gets in the bathtub and in a very
sensual.
Well, sensual, but I'm talking about her death scene. She turns the faucet on.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know what you want to call that. A very elaborate.
A very unexpected death scene. Like that could have gone a lot of directions. Let's be clear. First of all, this brings up one issue that is consistent throughout the whole film, and it's how does the killer have such influence on this building's plumbing? Because the plumbing plays a part throughout the whole film, constantly spewing blood or acid or nitric acid. I'm guessing that was a throwback to what that bottle was that was used, But her, like, that whole scene really had me cocking my eyebrow a bit. Because A, she busts in there covered in blood, traumatized, chased by somebody. She immediately takes her clothing off without hesitation. She gets into this tub. She finds a bar of soap, which I wouldn't expect to even be in this abandoned school. And she proceeds to bathe for roughly 15 minutes. Like, as other things are going on, she goes over herself. She's crying. She's sobbing. She wipes her breasts. She's rubbing them. She bathes. She rinses. Then she does it again. Like, she does several, which I guess if I had an intestine erupt on me, I'd respond maybe similarly. But like, she gives it plenty of time for that killer to hook up whatever's coming out of that sink.
How did he know? I mean, I don't know. I guess it's best.
How do you know that somebody would end up in that bathtub?
I guess it's just best not to think about it. But he does.
Fingers crossed that somebody bathes while they're here.
Yes, in this particular bathroom. But yeah, and then the acid comes out of the faucet, and she is dissolved.
She's disintegrated. The woman is literally disintegrated. And I feel very bad for her in this whole sequence. Like, she's just pathetic. She lives her life. Like, she like does like kind of like when you're in a bathtub as a kid and you play mermaid and you like lift your fin out. She does, and she's like, oh no, my but then she puts them back down, and she very like, instead of log rolling out of the tub, she like attempts to stand up, and then she just submerges herself.
Oh, Shirley. But yes, she literally disintegrates into a skeleton within like 5 seconds.
With an amazing claymation like face melt that I was not anticipating, and literally,
it's very reminiscent of Evil Dead, the claymation stuff in the Evil Dead. But it's a sight to behold, that's for sure.
Yes. It's one of the standout moments in the film.
So the other characters are doing their own thing, and can we mention the fact that it's April Fool's Day? Okay, and in fact, a little bit of trivia is the film was originally called April Fool's Day, but they had to change the title because of the other April Fool's Day that Paramount put out. So they changed the title. So it's April Fool's Day. It happens to be Marty's birthday. And once the characters catch on that, hey, Marty must be doing this to get revenge, my question is, since when does April Fool's Day end at noon?
It's one of my top notes. Is this a rule, or is this a rule that the movie created?
No, because they keep saying we just have to make it till noon, and then he can't touch us because that's the rule. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? I don't.
Yeah, that's bullshit. I've never heard of that. I definitely think that that's something they concocted so they could have what they would think to be a reasonable storyline. But it only made it more convoluted in the long run. Yeah, I was very confused by that as well.
And she even says, "Oh, well, he stuck to the rules so far. What are by killing your friends and and."
There's no rules. There's no rules to April Fools. There's no the whole thing is just to make it is to play jokes on people. If anything, he's taken the rules and he's horribly abused them. He's murdering people.
Oh yeah, and in very elaborate ways.
Yes.
So I'm trying to think. Oh, so you get Carl, who happens to get out of the school and runs to the car, and Marty just happens to know that Carl's going to get in that car because he's in the back seat already.
Yeah,
of
course. He's very good at predicting the elaborate things that are about to happen.
So Carl's dispatched with a spear through the seat and comes out of his
seat. Yeah.
So okay, he's disposable, whatever. But you get into and there's some weird dynamic with Stella is supposed to be with her
Joe.
She got married.
She's with Joe, but she wants Frank.
But yeah, she wants Frank. Yeah. And after, oh God, it's just so ridiculous. Because Joe is killed when he's trying to work on the tractor or whatever that thing is.
That they want to use to plow through the door, but that doesn't go anywhere.
Well, he's killed.
Yeah.
And Stella, I don't. Yeah. It's pretty good. But then Stella.
Yeah.
You would think that she would be like, "Oh, where's Joe? Where's Joe? He hasn't, where's he at?" But no, what's she do? She goes and with Frank, and they they have sex in a room with a bed just in the middle of it.
Just set up, ready to go. Again, unexpected. And set up for a very specific kill sequence. Yet again, how does the jester know that all of these things are going to unfold? It's very confusing, but it does make for a very entertaining sequence. And Stella, with her Mae West-like appeal and her powers of seduction beyond what I would anticipate, I'll say this, Joe, when I saw Joe, in that white tee, I was like, okay, that body's kicking. That guy had some big arms. And then, Frank, when he stripped down and I saw that fuzzy butt, I was like, okay, I get it too. Stella's on top of her game. Stella's got some kind of charm that I can't put my finger on it, but she's luring all the quality meat. And she must, she's a seductress.
Well, and then, she, there's this, talk dirty to me, talk dirty. And he's like, come, ball. Just saying that.
Fuck. Have these people ever had intercourse before? It's very weird. At least Stella knows what she wants, though. She's like, "Come on!"
Yeah. Well, and then as they're orgasming, they grab the metal bed frame, and it just happens to be hooked up to an electric what is it? Something that electrocutes them.
He hooks up a voltage, a battery.
So they grab it, and they're both electrocuted, and basically their faces just turn, black, and they're dead.
I mean, she just is seizuring and sparking, and her face is charred. Here's one thing that with this kill scene, it's one thing I noticed, and I mentioned it a bit earlier, but this is one of the things that I wish the movie gave me a little more of is there's a few times that you kind of have to conclude almost that characters have been dispatched. With Frank, you see the way they edit it, it looks like he rolled off of her. It looks almost like I thought he was going to be fine. I thought he was going to show up and be naked and the rest, which I've been fine with. But then same with like I said, with Susan, the way they set that up, I thought there's going to be more to it. And then I don't remember seeing anything come from it. So there's a few times, and maybe it was just editing choices, being an independent, 80s slasher. I can't really hold anything against it, but there's a few choices they made that just felt incomplete with some of these kills. And not to say these aren't good kills, and not to say they're not well executed, but there's a few things where I just, I feel like it's just missing that cherry on the cake. You know what I mean? And that's not all of them. It's not all of the kills. It's just one or two here or there.
I agree. There's another one that's problematic as well. And I think it's, God, I'm trying to remember these characters' names.
Nancy.
Yeah, Nancy. Yeah. Because she runs outside and falls into a pit, like
a shit vat,
a little cesspool that just happens to have no cover on it or anything in a school yard. Whatever. So she falls in, and it doesn't look like it's that deep. Okay, so she falls in, and as she's climbing out, the jester Marty just comes and like uses his foot and pushes her back down, and then we just assume she's dead.
Drowned?
But she was able to climb up the first time, so and he just pushes her down and walks away, like doesn't give her any time to make sure she's dead. So I'm wondering, how did she drown that quickly?
Well, and I think like there's even things that they chose like this in the sense of like the production value with that, where it's like, what is it? Is it like literally like a sewage? Like, is it where the shit from the school is going? Like, I don't understand exactly what it is, but okay, I'll buy it. She waddles outside. She's somehow able to get outside, first of all, which is an issue. They're like all struggling to get out of the building, but she's able to get out. She pathetically stumbles like 5 feet and falls into this hole. And then I'm like, she's trying to climb out. And like, if you notice like the faucet or whatever it is like smoking. So they're trying to imply that this thing is like hot, I guess. Like, so she's like struggling to grab onto it, but like it doesn't go anywhere. It's not like it's burning her. You don't see her hands are singeing. It's just very like confusing. I don't know what they were trying to give us with that sequence. And so, yeah, he puts his foot on her head. He pushes her back down, but like, it's not like it didn't seem to me like she was really drowning in there. So did he just like, did she just, I don't know. I don't know how she died. I don't know how.
I don't either. Maybe she's not dead. I don't know. She's still in that pit.
Well, we can only hope, because she was not the most annoying character. That's a lie. Nancy was horribly annoying, and I really wanted her to die.
Yeah, when she starts crying. But
like, we can leave, right? Like she's like losing her shit.
No. But so yeah, and then you're down to the last few characters, which are Carol and Skip, and they're just kind of they're there. But I do like the sequence when Skip gets you see him he's in a noose, and Marty actually kicks the chair out and he hangs him, but he breaks free. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you get that really cool. I mean, if the film has anything that actually is really good about it, it's the kind of the final chase scene between Carol and Marty. There's some really effective stuff there. It's a chase scene that goes on quite a long time, which I'm a big fan of chase scenes in slasher films. And this one's pretty damn good. There's the part of the chase scene where she's on the stage and she's kind of hiding behind the curtains that really reminded me of the scene with Courtney Cox in Scream 2 when she's in that like soundstage thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's that same very, very, very similar.
Yeah. And also I saw the influence. You had mentioned this when we reviewed Clown at Midnight, where there's that whole scene with the whole thing where it's like he pokes the spear through the paper, and then and then it comes up behind her and he does the same thing. There's that moment where you see the spear kind of getting stabbed through the curtains, and like you can kind of see influences that have lent to other films in that chase sequence. I mean, there's definitely a few moments within the chase sequence that like were typical tropes, like the whole thing with she has the bat, she's beating him, and then she just drops it and runs. And I'm like, Carol, God damn it, like just kill him. But like, at the end of the day, like it was effective. At least made Carol feel like a final girl. It really did.
Yeah, because like I said, her character throughout the film is just very blasé about everything, until it comes down to her being sort of the last one left, and then she does get to do a little bit more with the character and the performance. But and then but there's the scene where she accidentally kills poor Skip.
Yeah, that I did not see that coming. That was pretty. That was a good twist, and it made me. I won't say like bummed me out because like they're all these characters are kind of assholes. But after he survived that whole news sequence, I really was like expecting something big to come from it, and then boom, like you just get an axe to the face. And it was a startle moment where I was like, oh my God, wow, they totally got me with that. It came out of nowhere, you know?
Yeah, because she thinks it's Marty. Because she's hiding behind the corner of the hallway, and she hears him coming, and she thinks it's Marty. So she gets the axe from the fire extinguisher or the hatchet and just whacks him in the face, and it ends up being poor Skip. And yeah, and then she runs into the there's another scene where she pushes him over the balcony and he falls on the floor. And then instead of like doing the normal thing, like, you know, making sure he's dead, she throws the spear down to him. It's like, here, Marty, it's the javelin. Here, Marty, in case you're not dead, here's your weapon back, you know?
Right. I was anticipating him being dead, though. Like, I will say this. I really, at that point, I was like, that broad just pushed him through a glass window, and he just fell. Rather from a great height. I would have expected at least for him to be like severely injured, but no, he was fine.
He's fine.
He was unfazed by that entire fall, which I did not expect. But you know what? Horror movie rules are always different from reality. So
yeah. Well, and then she runs into where it all started, and I think that's kind of so poetic that that it ends where it's the woman's locker room. Yeah.
A word I would lend to this film would be poetic.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. But she hides in the same shower that they kind of tormented him in the beginning. And he comes in, and this actually surprised me the first time I saw it. He kills her. I mean, he stabs her through her stomach with the javelin. And
yeah,
I didn't expect to see that happen, you know, because
right.
Very few final girls in 80s slashers actually died. I can only think of maybe a couple where it seems more common now because it's like, oh, we're gonna throw a twist in and kill off the final girl. But in the 80s, that really didn't happen. You had Splatter University and maybe The Dorm That Dripped Blood were the two that I can think of where the final girl actually is killed, and this one. So it was kind of shocking.
Yeah. And another thing that honestly shocked me, like, I was anticipating, maybe I'm giving this movie more credit, but I was anticipating a twist. I was anticipating that it would not be Marty because that seemed so heavy-handed. You know what I mean? Like the fact that like all signs point to him and there was no other real red herring. But like, I guess, you know, at least we knew what we were getting into with the reveal. Cause like he comes around the corner and it is Marty and he is burned and like it is exactly as you were told it would be.
Well,
and
I mean,
there's no twist.
And I think it was very, intentional because even the tagline of the film, if you remember this film probably has one of the most memorable box arts of any film from the 80s with the skeleton holding the apple with the fuse lid on it. Right. And the tagline is even Marty majored in cutting classmates. So I don't think they were trying to hide the fact that it was Marty. But the whole ending of this movie has always confused me because I still don't know what to think because, the ending of the film after he kills Carol, he kind of casually is like, oh, cool. I showed them. And then he tries to leave and they're all zombies now. And they've come back. They attack him. All the dead, and oh my God, are these actors committed to being zombies?
Oh, they love it. Yeah. They've been waiting for this the whole time. You know what is the most committed beyond the actors is Carol's hair.
Yeah.
Like, Carol's zombie hair took me by surprise. She rose up and it just kept rising. Like it was hair after hair after hair. And then it was her face. And I was like, I'm noting this as a gay man. This has got my attention. So yeah, that whole ending, obviously it goes into like this dream state. And I think the one thing that kind of clue you in a little bit is like the coloration, the lighting, the set, the smoke. You start to realize like something's a bit off. And then you have that whole reveal that he wakes up in the hospital. Like this has all been like a drug-induced dream sequence for him.
Okay. I've always...
You seem exasperated.
I've always wondered, was this a dream? Or
I think it was. How I took it was that he was having like this. He was on these pain meds from the skin grafts because you keep hearing about this, And so what I gathered is, he's starting to like come to, and that's why everything kind of goes into that pink and red and becomes really like far out. And then he wakes up in the hospital and the nurse is talking to him, and then he does end up killing the nurse and putting a syringe in that doctor's eye dressed as the nurse. So like, obviously he has intentions to kill, I do think that this was him kind of like having this mental break while he's on these meds, because he obviously is in excruciating pain because his face is horribly disfigured by a bottle of nitric acid. So
yeah, I've thought, I've thought that it was the whole film, of him killing all his classmates off was a dream. But then in other readings, if you read something about the film or you go to like the Wikipedia page or the IMDb, it plays it very straightforward. Like, oh yes, he really does this. So I've always been like, okay, I wonder if this is a dream or not. But anyway, either way, it doesn't make the film. It doesn't take anything away from the film. The film is still, it's a piece of 1986 slasher,
nostalgia. Gold. Yeah, gold. Absolutely. Diamonds. A diamond in the rough. But that ending, even like with him like looking at the camera and peeling the skin off and everything, like they knew exactly what they were doing with this whole film. Like from beginning to end, they were not trying to give you refined cinema. They were giving you Z-grade popcorn entertainment, and they do a great job with it, because I was never bored with this film. It's never like I was like, oh, let's keep moving. The beginning of the film does move a little slow in the sense of like, after you have, aside from you've got that, the whole sequence, the reveal of him with like the classroom catching on fire and everything, there's a bit of a time period there before, like it's like 35 minutes before you got like the first kill. But it's one of those things like, what could you've got to get the storyline out there. Like, it's a pretty, I don't want to say complex, but you've got to get all the characters together in the same location. You've got to establish that they don't know exactly what's going on. It's a lot of fucking characters, So I understand why it moved the way it did. And they gave you some fun scenarios of like making these characters kind of likable. Like the whole scene of Skip picking up Nancy. At first I thought Nancy's character was really likable. Unfortunately, she mentally declined throughout the course of the film. And that was horribly annoying. But overall, like, they did their best to make these characters relatable and likable and fun. And I did enjoy, for the most part, all of them, which is not the case with every low-budget horror movie I see.
No. Well, and one of their big things with advertising the film is that it's, from the makers of Friday the 13th, because I think couple of the people that produced the original Friday the 13th produced this film. So, and then they used, the same composer to get that kind of
coverage.
80s score that is very reminiscent of Friday the 13th in some spots of the film.
Yeah.
You can tell it's the same composer. But I also love the fact that, besides the characters, I feel like the film does a really great job of creating a really tense, kind of creepy atmosphere throughout it with the school setting and the jester mask.
Yeah. The shape of the jester mask, like when they use shadow play, they'll do a lot of sequences where they'll see, like, you'll see in a doorway, it'll be lit from behind, and you'll see the shadow, the silhouette of the jester, and he'll like bop out of the way. Like they define a very specific like energy for the killer and a very specific tone. And I really appreciated that, because that was consistent from the beginning when they started introducing the jester. So yeah, no, I think they did a great job with like the lighting and the mood and the whole location. It was very much, I think, an inspiration. In my mind, I think this had to have some inspiration on the movie Night of the Demons. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of like the location, the shadows, you've got this group of individuals in this abandoned building. It's very dark, like just that kind of energy. You see how this movie probably went on to influence other films, other independent films that came after it, because it does some of these things pretty well. It really does. It was extremely entertaining, very fun film. I understand completely why this would be an influential film for you as a fan of this, this genre of slasher.
Oh yeah, it's definitely, I think, I wouldn't say as far as quality wise, it's probably not one of the best films of the 80s, but it certainly is it certainly fucking is one of the most entertaining slasher films of the 80s. Is. So you got to give it huge props for that. Hey, it created its own rules. April Fool's ends at noon. So
then now we know.
Yeah, now we know.
And now we know.
Can't play tricks.
I had no idea.
But yeah, so I'm glad you enjoyed it because I really, when you told me you hadn't seen it, I was like, oh boy, what is he going to think of this? But I feel like audiences, like younger audiences, like maybe teenagers today, could not watch this and be entertained by it because it's so 80s and just so absurd. And unless you've grown up with the 80s slashers as an influence, I feel like this one is probably not one I would recommend to like if I had one of my students, because I work at a high school, if I had one of my students that I found out was a horror fan and it's like, hey, can you recommend some good 80s slashers, this is probably not one I would recommend because of just it's a little absurd and I don't think that they would necessarily get it.
It's not necessarily aged well.
No.
However, if you're somebody who looks for movies that have fall under that category, then this is probably right up your alley. If you like hokey 80s slashers, like a Return to Horror High or anything like that, this is going to fall in line with those movies. That sticky, cheesy, like not at all a believable scenario, nor are these.
And I find this film infinitely better than Return to Horror High. I have never liked that film.
I own it, and I don't know why.
Yeah,
I don't know why I own it.
I've tried to find some appeal in it, but I just can't. But Slaughter High, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Roger. I'm glad you got joy from watching Stella and her vaudeville, personality.
I found my Halloween costume.
Yes, I told you.
In that fur jacket with the occasional southern drawl. She was great.
Yeah. But that's Slaughter High. So, yay.
Yeah. Thank you for opening my eyes.
Oh, well, I'm sure it'll be on your repeated viewing list.
Oh man, yeah, that was good fun for sure. I totally get the appeal, and that is right in line with my kind of throwback movie for sure. Yeah. But and let's you're picking the next one too, right?
Yeah, and you know what? I think I mentioned to you a long time ago what I wanted it to be, but I kind of changed my mind because
you changed your mind.
I changed my mind. The film that I want to do next is one of. Well, I won't get into it. I won't say anything because I don't want to spoil it. But it's a film that I haven't seen covered, and it's. I feel like it's really. It kind of falls in line with Slaughter High because it's about a group of people that get trapped in an abandoned, or not an abandoned, but get trapped in a building, and are being picked off, one by one. Okay, and it's from the same time period. It came out in 1987, and it is Stage Fright / Aquarius.
Oh my goodness. I was just watching a scene from Stage Fright recently.
Yeah.
Excellent. Stage Fright. I'm jotting it down so I don't forget. Wonderful. Yeah, I'll tell you something about that. I've never seen that one in entirety either.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I can't wait. I've heard really great things though. I have. I've heard very good things about this film.
Well, it's directed by Michael Silvia, who is a kind of a branch off of Dario Argento. He worked with Argento, I believe. So it's I feel like it's just kind of a good film to do around Halloween time. And it ties really well into Slaughter High because it very much is a group of people trapped in a building being picked off one by one. Yeah. And I just haven't seen this film discussed on another horror podcast. So I'm like, hey, this would be a good one to discuss with Roger because, I think you'll enjoy it and find a lot of maybe value in what it did for the genre in the late 80s because it is one of kind of the last 80s slashers to come out because I think it came out in 87. And by that time, the slasher genre was certainly, not in the greatest shape.
Right. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Was there not a remake within the last 10 years of this, or did they just use the same title?
There wasn't. They used the same name. They have zero to do with each other.
Gotcha. Okay. Noted.
Yep. So check it out, and we will we'll discuss it, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Excellent. I can't wait. This is one that's always been on my to-do list. I've just never gotten to it. I mean, I think the visuals, even like the costume, like that owl mask and everything is just really striking. And I can tell this is one that's going to tickle my fancy just because of what I've seen of it. It seems when you say Argento, you see it like the color pops and the lighting and everything. So yeah, I'm very excited to watch
and
this.
It easily has one of the most probably tense, suspenseful scenes in slasher history.
Yeah, excellent. I can't wait.
Yeah,
I can't wait, man. Awesome. Well, that's something to look forward to for us and for the fans as well.
We definitely hope to kind of get on a regular schedule of getting these episodes out, because I'm excited for your next couple picks. So,
I've got them. I can't wait. I'm excited.
All righty.
Yeah, but leading up to the next one, I do want to remind everybody again that Teacher Shortage is coming out on DVD. Is it on the 26th? Is that correct?
October 27th. Just in time
27th
for Halloween.
Just in time for you to have it rush ordered to your home for Halloween. You got a few days, guys. Like, I expect you to all order it.
Yes.
Next day delivery and watch it by Halloween. And I expect all of our fans to follow up and let us know what you think. I'm very excited for it.
We want to see your selfies holding the DVD.
Please make us feel important. Stroke our egos. Yeah, definitely. And I do want to acknowledge also for all of my zombie fans, my film Rebirth is about to premiere on October 25th here in Cleveland. We're having another screening on October 30th. And we've sold out the October 25th screening. So we just added another one on Halloween because we're selling enough tickets to do so, which is a great feeling. So if anyone is a Romero fan or a zombie fan, it is a modern reinterpretation of Night of the Living Dead. We're kind of tackling the modern social commentary, much like the original did in 1968. We're tackling some of these really relevant issues that are pummeling us in the face every single day. So why not give it to you with flesh-eating zombies?
Well, I'm so excited to see this because, we've been, friends for several years now. And I've been following the progress you've been sending. For the last couple of years, you've been sending me clips and things to get my opinion, and I've been just blown away by how great everything looks. So I'm super excited for you, and I'm super excited to see this final project because everything that you've sent me or everything that I've seen you post just looks really, really great.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm a huge Romero fan. Night of the Living Dead's my favorite film. I wanted to be very respectful of the material, so I just wanted to do the best I could, and I'm very proud of the final product. I'm very excited for you to see it. I'm excited for the fans to see it, much like I'm excited for them to see Teacher Shortage. So there's a lot of things for you guys to look forward to coming from us, and it's nice to have things coming out as filmmakers because this year I wasn't sure exactly what we'd have going on, but you know what? Somehow, some way, we've been able to be creative and create art and still produce art and make it happen. So that's a good feeling.
And and you know what? I will just say this, and then we can kind of wrap it up. I'm the festival director for Houston Horror Film Festival, and we still plan on having our festival next year in June, June 25th through June 27th. And I was just talking, we just opened up the submission period in the first week of September because we had our first festival, but we transitioned it to virtual, like almost all festivals this year have done. So we opened up the submission period, and I was telling my co-director Tony Rodriguez, I was like, I'm just worried that we're not going to get a lot of submissions because I don't think stuff has been being made because of quarantine. Boy, was I wrong. Wrong. It's October. Our submission periods has only been open for a month, and we already have almost 50 submissions.
Yeah, man, that's I think the one glorious thing about this last year is, as rough as it's been, it has been a creative stimulant for a lot of people. I think we are moved to create art because if we don't, we're going to lose our fucking minds. So I think it's honestly been a reason for people to get up off their asses and out of their houses and go out and within COVID, while we're still respecting, distancing and regulations and so forth, managing to make art at this time has been pivotal. For people.
I agree.
I think it's been healing for people, to be honest, and I'm thankful for it.
People are doing a phenomenal job. I can just tell by several of the submissions that people are definitely taking issues that we're currently, dealing with and turning it into film. I mean, we have a couple films that are definitely seems like influenced by the Trump era. the quarantine era. So it's really cool to see filmmakers doing that and being able to bring that to the forefront. And
they always say that the greatest art comes from the darkest times, and we are in dark times. So I anticipate to see some very great art over the next couple of months, couple years as they start to, trickle out after all of this. I think this is going to be a really good time for filmmakers and artists in general and beyond. So just a matter of getting it out there.
All righty. Well, that was our episode on Slaughter High. Hope you enjoyed it. We are going to wrap up, and you are going to join us for our next episode on Stage Fright.
Yeah,
another film that Roger hasn't seen. I love picking these films that Roger hasn't seen.
Well, keep them coming, man. You are opening my eyes to some both wonderful and horrible cinema, and I love it.
Well, you have a great rest of your day, Roger, and
thank you.
We will see you or talk to you all soon. Engage with us in the Facebook group, and share.
Peace out, guys.
Yep. Have a great one.
Bye.
Bye.